What is up, gamers? I'm Joaneh, and this is Archaeology 101. Okay, so just to kind of go over a few things about this video, I am not going to be reiterating what you would have learned in the tutorial. The tutorial is pretty great for this, so I'm just gonna start off after that. And pretty much I'm not going to be explaining all of the little intricacies involved with it because archaeology is such a content-rich skill. There is so many moving parts, and to cover all of that would take hours. So instead, I'm going to just talk about what you need to do to level up quickly and efficiently. That being said, I am only level 40. Or 41, okay. But I am only level 40, so what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be making this video part of a series. I'm going to be making 3 videos. One, that's this one, from level 5 to 40, because after the tutorial you're already level 5. Then I'm going to do a second one that's from 40 to 80, and then finally 80 to 120, showing you the quickest possible methods to leveling up. So as soon as you're done the tutorial, you get overwhelmed with a lot of information. I'm just going to tell you exactly what you need to just forget about for now. Anything associated with that monolith, just forget about it. Anything associated with Azrael, you could just forget about. I don't even remember if they talked about this person, but you can forget about him. This guy is only good every 10 levels, so you can essentially forget about him for the most part, and essentially forget about this person. All you really need to worry about is your manufacturing station, your storage box, and the screen mesh thing, where you're pretty much dumping all the soil that you're going to gather into that to be collecting materials. And very rarely can you actually get artifacts out of the soil, but it's so incredibly rare that I still haven't gotten one, so don't keep your hopes up for that. The last thing that you might need to consider is this little spot here. This is pretty much where you're going to be dumping all of your artifacts. You are not going to give your artifacts to the museum. This guy, you can essentially forget about him too. The only reason why he's there is if you have an excess of artifacts. If you have like 5 of the same artifact and they're just junk at this point, or they're low level artifacts and you're already surpassed it and you just have no need for them anymore, that's where you can dump your artifacts. Aside from that, do not even touch him for the first 40 levels. Essentially, you want to be giving all of your artifacts to this lady. Every artifact you have belongs to a collection. The nice thing is that for Zarosian 1, all of these artifacts you get from level 5 to 25. In those first 20 levels, you can finish this collection. And this is what helps you become an assistant. The other nice thing about these collections is when you submit them to Volusia or another collector, you will get chronotes from them, as well as XP. So that's why I'm saying you can disregard this guy, because he will essentially give you a reduced amount of chronotes anyway. Another thing to note about these collections is they're repeatable. So you can see I have a check mark here. That means I already did this once. You can continue to do it. I would advise against it, because as soon as you finish one collection, the only thing it does for you is gives you more chronotes. And by this point, you're going to be wasting XP that you could be spending on higher tier collections. Now, to get back to that menu, you just have to right-click on Volusia and go to Archaeology Collection. Okay, so enough of that. I'm going to show you the quickest method right now to level up. If you're level 5, you want to go to Kharid-Et. That's going to be the first official dig site that you're going to work at. So as soon as you get here, you'll probably have like a short little intro showing you what this place is and all that fun stuff. But after that, you get down here, and this is pretty much going to be your home for the next hour or so. These 3 spots right here, essentially you're going to have to grind them. And it is long and painful, but there are ways to make it a little bit more manageable. So you start your excavation. and immediately you're going to see this little bauble kind of pop out. So this is kind of similar to their whole concept about rock opportunities in mining, where when you're mining a rock randomly, another one's going to sparkle, and that's your indication to move to that rock. The difference is this thing is always here, and it's going to jump from one excavation site to the other. And the idea is you are meant to jump with it, because as you jump with it, you level up this kind of percentile meter right down here. And if you read it, automatically as you're excavating in the same spot as the sprite, you will get 10% increase to the XP that you earn. As soon as you reach 40%, you will get an extra 10% increase to the archaeology XP. So once this meter reaches 40%, you're already earning 20% more XP. And see how it jumped? I'm meant to move with it. If I stay at that site, this percentile will go down. And then I'm missing out on all of the perks that come with it. As soon as this percentile reaches 100%, your next excavation action will guarantee you a material, as well as ×2 mattock precision, which is essentially saying it fills up your blue bar just a little bit quicker. As soon as it reaches 100%, it jumps back down to 60, and then you have to start the climb again. Everything I just explained was just a whole bunch of talk to indicate that you need to stick with this bauble. You need to stay with it at all times. This is going to be the difference between leveling up quickly and grinding for hours. Okay, once you've excavated for a little bit, you've collected some soil, you've collected some materials, you've collected some artifacts. I have 2. You can come over to this little tent. And this is where you're going to start gaining all of your archaeology XP. First off, you can deposit all of your materials into the little bank that you have. This will collect all of your materials and will restore your artifacts using the materials inside the box. So you don't need to have them in your inventory when you're working on them. Now, I know a lot of people, as soon as they saw this interface, it confused the hell out of them because they didn't know what they were looking at. This tells you the amount of XP that you're going to earn once you restore it, how much it's worth, what collections it belongs to, like where you can put them or where you can submit them. And then it pretty much tells you your requirements, what level you need to be, and the fact that you need to be at a restoration station, which is essentially this bench. That's all that's saying. Furthermore, it tells you the materials that you're going to need in order to restore it. When you hover over, it'll show you the amount that you currently have, which is a very handy tool. And that's all you really need to know. As soon as you have your artifact, you come over to the desk. Essentially, it will auto-target the one that you can make. So in this case, I can make the Venator dagger. All I have to do is restore it, and I'm going to earn that much XP. Now, during this process, you're also going to be gathering up a lot of soil. So what I would recommend, have your soil box somewhere in your action bar. And then all you have to do is click your action bar to gather up all your soil, and it doesn't interrupt your excavating. Now, when it comes to your soil, for the first 40 levels, you're going to want to keep your soil, and you're going to want to sift through them at the Archaeology Guild. So once you fill up your box to 50, that's when you take your journal and head back to the base to sift through them. Once you're here, you sift through your soil, and again, just like the materials and the restoration, you do not need to empty them into your inventory. They will get used directly from your soil box. Now, as you can see, I'm earning 3 XP per soil. You're going to be earning 1. But as you level up, the XP you earn from sifting soil increases. Now, you can sell your soil, but I would highly recommend you use it to help you level, because a lot of the artifacts you're going to be restoring is heavily reliant on a lot of materials. So restoring soil is just another easy way to gain more materials. That being said, do not waste your time on material caches. Material caches is just like chopping down a tree. You'll collect some material, until the source has been depleted. You won't be collecting soil and you won't be collecting artifacts. This is just material of one specific kind, like samite silk. This is going to be a waste of time and XP. You could be using all of that time to excavate a site, possibly get an artifact, get all kinds of different materials, and leveling up. Every time you earn an artifact or fill this blue bar above your head, you will get a good chunk of XP. For instance, you can see the XP that I'm about to earn right now. 77 XP once the blue bauble is complete. In that time, I got some soil and I got a material. I'm of course excavating this a little bit quicker because this is a level 5 and I'm a level 4. So I would highly recommend you stick with excavating sites. Once you get to level 10, come back to the guild and get yourself an iron mattock. Once you've added it to your tool belt, go straight back. Now that you're level 10, you can start excavating the main entrance. This is all going to be soil for you. I think you might even be able to do this while you're leveling to level 10. Like, you don't have to be level 10 to start, but I'm not too sure. I can't really remember, to be honest. So you can test that. If you do have to wait till you're level 10, this is your time to start. Once you're done, you can enter, and this is going to be your new home for a little while. The nice thing about this site is from level 10 to 25, you can just stay here to complete your first collection. There are 3 different sites. You have your remains, you have your debris, and you have another form of debris. Just a few things to note about this site. When you're excavating, you're going to be digging up pylon batteries. These batteries are used to charge up this kind of stone here, called a shadow anchor. Now, it's important to note that there are 8 shadow anchors in this level, so you're going to need to rack up a total of 80. By my experience, you collect about 3 per excavation site, like per artifact that you collect. You're going to be collecting about 3 of these, so it doesn't take too long to collect. Just be sure never to put it in a pylon. You can think of this thing as a luminite charger for the artisan workshop. It's a global XP booster, and it takes like 200 of these things to charge it up even a little bit. So extremely not worth it. Instead, take your 10 and put them into the shadow anchors. When you do that, here's what's going to happen. As soon as you power it on, you're going to get a ghost legionnaire. You talk to him, he's going to give you some materials. That's essentially all there is to it. There is some lore attached to powering up all the anchors. It helps you unlock something else, I think. I haven't gotten there, so I don't quite know. But essentially, you're just going to be getting some materials, which are very useful. The other thing to note about this site is that there is a material cart here. This you can easily just deposit all of your materials, so you don't have to be running back and forth to deposit all your materials. You can just do that there. So from level 10 to about 25, just stick around here, jumping from excavation site to excavation site, gathering up all those different kinds of artifacts that you can, and restoring them. If you find that you don't have enough materials to restore an artifact, you can survey each site to see what materials it offers, because each site will offer something different. So if you're missing a particular material that site offers, dig there, collect your materials, and then restore your artifacts. Once you get to level 20, head back, teleport to the Archaeology Guild, and collect the steel mattock. Another thing to note, at level 20, you're going to unlock the infernal source. I personally don't recommend staying here for too long. Just come to the site, kind of explore it, see what it's about. The very first thing you have to do is go around to each chest that you see and unlock them. They give you some XP as well as some materials. There are 6 chests in total. Make sure to unlock all of them. And then you can hang around here and excavate if you like. There is one downside to excavating here at this particular level. There is no materials cart. So you can't deposit your material. As soon as your inventory gets full, you have to go back outside, enter the little camp, and deposit your materials here. However, you will need to excavate here for a time, because in order to progress to the next stage, you have to find all of the little insignias that need to be placed on top of the fireplace. So you will need to excavate here in order to do that. As soon as that's done, you essentially don't need to excavate here anymore. I think now would be a good time to talk about your journal. Each site that you visit has a mysteries section. For the Zamrock, you want to collect all of the different journal pages, and it tells you exactly what excavation site to dig at in order to earn those pages. So this one is Lodge Bar Storage and Lodge Art Storage, and that's essentially these here. So I would say once you collect all the journal pages, you are done here, and save the secret passage for when you have the levels to reach it. Solving mysteries also rewards you XP. So once you find all the journal pages, you can actually submit this to the site manager as a mystery that is now solved. So you just right click on Mavario, go to mysteries, and you go to the relevant one that you've solved, and there's going to be some dialogue, and then at the end you'll be rewarded with a good chunk of XP. After collecting everything you need from the infernal source, you should be about level 25 now. So at this time I would go back to Kharid-Et and continue excavating in the main fortress. Your goal at the end of the day is to hit all 3 excavation sites until you've gathered all of the artifacts associated with them. Once you've gathered and restored all of the artifacts, go back to Velusia under Archaeology log. They're all listed here. Make sure you have them in your inventory and contribute them. If you are still not level 40, I would suggest you stay at Kharid-Et, continue excavating there until you are, and use this achievement as a guide. You want to get to the assistant level, so make sure you have all of these completed. That is your current goal. So if this is still hollowed out, you're still not level 40, chances are there's something else that you're missing. Work towards that. Make sure you complete it. And then once you're level 40 and have completed everything listed in that achievement, you go to the guild master and you check your qualifications. There will be a short little cutscene where you do a little ceremony and gives you that qualification, and then automatically it will open up a new tutorial on research studies, which is the archaeology version of player-owned ports, and that's going to be in the actual dig site. You click on this table, it opens up a little interface. This is pretty much on your left hand side are going to be like your voyages. You click on them, and then you can choose the duration that you want the voyage or excavation to last. As you increase the time, the cost will increase as well. However, if you're looking here, the XP that you gain will also increase. I would personally recommend, as you're training, to stick with the 1 hour journeys, and then when you're logging off for the night, make an 8 hour or a 12 hour so that you can invest in gaining XP while you're logged off. Another thing to note, your crew will consist of the first row at level 40. During the tutorial, you will unlock these first 2. The last 3 you have to unlock on your own. They're very easy to unlock. You have to give them a restored artifact of whatever they want. So Katrina needs a Zarosian dummy, effigy. Dorian requires the opulent wine glass that you will get at the infernal source. Eduardo needs something from Everlight, which you can't unlock until you're level 42. So now, as you might see down here, one of my research teams finished. So it'll come in and it'll say view report, and this is the location, and this is the information that they gathered. So claim that, claim all your new artifacts, and as you just saw, I gained 215 XP. So I'm going to take all that and deposit it all into my container, and now I can send off the next voyage. The unfortunate thing is you can only have 1 active research going at a time. So I would highly recommend you stick with the 1 hours as you're training and move into the 8 to 12 hours as you're logged out. Don't worry so much about the cost, you should have more than enough once you contribute all of the artifacts that you've restored. The other thing to keep in mind when it comes to your chronotes, you cannot add these to your wallet. And the simple reason being is that they are tradable. So I would highly recommend you store them someplace in your bank where you're going to have easy access to them, because you're going to be using them quite a bit. Now I know I covered a lot of information in this video in such a short time. I hope I didn't confuse anyone, but just to recap, from level 5 to 10, this is pretty much your zone. You're just going to be excavating one of these 3 spots, making sure to stay with that sprite, gathering up all your artifacts and restoring them. As soon as you get to level 10, you go back, you get your iron mattock, and you start excavating the entrance. And once you get to level 12, that's when you can enter and start excavating inside. At level 12, your first zone is going to be this area. You're going to excavate, you're going to earn some pylon batteries, you're going to store up 10 to save for the shadow anchor, and you're going to be collecting notebook pages, which look like this. As soon as you collect a page, you can just destroy it. It'll automatically record into your notebook. You're going to stay here till about level 17, and then you're going to jump to this excavation site here. And you're going to do the same thing, collect all the artifacts, all of the materials, restore your artifacts, gain levels, and hold on to all of the artifacts for the collection later. Once you get to level 20, you come back here, get your new mattock, and head to the infernal source. At the infernal source, you're going to be grinding a little bit more because there's no material box. You're going to have to go back and forth a little bit. First thing you're going to do is open all 6 chests, and then you're immediately going to start excavating the lodge bar storage. You're going to collect all your materials, all your soil, and restore all your artifacts. Once you get to about level 24, you're going to move on to the art storage, and same thing, you're going to collect all your artifacts and restore them, while at the same time keeping an eye on those insignias that you're going to be putting on top of the fireplace and prioritizing those when doing your restoration. During this time, you're also going to be collecting your notebook pages. You can go ahead and destroy those as well because they automatically collect into your journal. Once all that is done, once you've collected all of your pages and all of the insignias for the fireplace, you can head on back to Kharid-Et. At this time, you should be level 25 and are able to excavate at the administratium debris. Work at this excavation site until you've collected all of the artifacts associated with the Zarosian number 1 collection. Back at the guild, talk to Velusia, and submit all of your artifacts. Once that's done, if you're still below level 40, you can head back to the infernal source. Side note, don't worry about this. I unlocked it a little bit too early. There's nothing to do down here until level 47. From the infernal source, you want to climb down the secret passage in the fireplace. At this time, you should be level 36, and you can begin excavating the sacrificial altar. Collect some artifacts from here, restore them, and get those last 4 levels. As soon as you get to level 40, head back, and that's when you can start researching. Once you're level 40, I would recommend staying here for the last couple levels until you're level 42, to which you will unlock Everlight. As soon as Everlight's unlocked, that's the next place you go, just to get the first few levels until you're level 47. Once you're 47, you go back to Kharid-Et, and that's pretty much all archaeology is about. You get to a certain point, you gain like 5 or 6 levels at one site, and then you bounce back to a previous site. So it's just a lot of back and forth. But, like I said, I would stay here for the next little while, and I particularly like this site because there is a materials cart right here that you can deposit your materials right away. That's about all the information I have on archaeology as of now. If you guys have any more information on things that I haven't touched on, or if you have some strategies that you'd like to share, please make sure to comment below. I'll be releasing a second video once I get to level 80 to kind of explain the road on how to get from 40 to 80. I really hope this video helped give you some kind of a direction to go in terms of leveling up this skill. There is a lot of grind to it that you just kind of have to live with, but I hope this video gives you kind of a linear path to take to reach your leveling goals. Now that's about all I got on archaeology at this time. I would like to make a side note: if you are watching this video, please subscribe to my channel if you don't mind. I have a lot of views and a lot of viewing hours, but I have very little subscribers. I'm trying to get monetized by YouTube, and I'm trying to reach 1,000 subscribers. As soon as I get 1,000, I can start making money on these videos, and that means I can start producing more. If you look at my channel, you'll find I don't actually have a lot of videos, and that's just because I do not have the resources I need in order to produce them. And a lot of that comes from the funding that I would have gotten from YouTube if they did not change their policies and give us regulations on how to get monetized. Those regulations are 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of people watching our videos. I have well over 4,000 hours of people watching my videos, but no subscribers. So even if you don't like my content, if I could just ask that you subscribe to my channel and then toss it off to the side and never have to look at it again, but just simply subscribing will be a huge help to me, and I would really appreciate that. And it's going to help me make more content in the future. At the end of the day, I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope I was able to shed some light on leveling up in archaeology. If you have any questions or concerns, or if you want to share some of your input, please leave a comment below. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.